wanted to show you that I have the original, written Spanish account. All right. All right. So in English, this book would be called The History of the Indies of New Spain. Again, by Fray Diego Duran. Translated, annotated, and with introduction by Doris Hayden. This version of it, right? Evidence. All right. So let's just base ourselves on the evidence. All right. Not theories. Provided by these people, whose strange ways, conduct, and lowly actions are so like those of the Hebrews. Like what? Like who? Like the Hebrews. Fray Diego Duran telling you straight up, chapter 1, right in the beginning. Thus we can almost positively affirm that they are Jews and Hebrews. And I would not commit a great error if I were to state this as fact. He ain't committing an error telling you these are Hebrews, because he knows it's a fact, considering their way of life, their ceremonies, their rites and superstitions, their omens and hypocrisies, so akin to and characteristic of those of the Hebrews. In no way do they seem to differ. The Holy Scriptures bear witness to this. If you read your scriptures, you will see this, and you see their ceremonies. And if you read their codices, you will see same stories as the Old Testament. And from them we draw proofs and reason for holding this opinion to be true. As proof thereof, we know that this newly arrived nation, latecomers from strange and remote regions, made a long and tedious journey, searching and finally taking possession of this land. They spent many months and years in coming to this place. The truth of this matter can be found by drawing on their traditions and paintings and by talking to their elders, some of whom are very old. All right? Not because he's making stuff up in his mind and he wants to be famous and has an agenda, or he's a Sephardic Jew. No. They don't, it's deeper than that. Dot your own hijack. All right? He's talking to the elders. They're straight up telling him. Just before continuing on the footnote, it says here, Duran's ideas on the Hebrew origins of the natives of the Americas and the probable migration of people from the Near East to the New World constitute a favorite subject among the early colonial chroniclers. So not just him. Columbus, we already know that, right? Columbus wrote he was coming to recover the holy city and Mount Zion, right, in his book of prophecies, which is in the Biblioteca Colombina, the Colombina Library in Seville, Spain. These people have traditions regarding a great man, all right? A great man. All right, we're going to read later on who this great man was. Many names. Meshi was one of them. Moshe. They told me that after he had suffered many afflictions and persecutions from his countrymen, he gathered the multitude of his followers and persuaded them to flee from that persecution to a land where they could live in peace. All right, so some American native elders telling him, right, that this great man suffered many afflictions and persecutions from his countrymen. Now, isn't that the story of Moses? Like before he left, affliction with his countrymen, meaning the Egyptians. Remember, he lived amongst them and he was considered to be one of them, right? Because they raised him supposedly. All right. But, it's telling you right now the same thing. Having made himself leader of those people. All right. Now remember, this is a narration by one of the Indians, right? Having made himself leader of those people, he went to the seashore and moved the waters with a rod that he carried in his hand. All right? We're not in the annals of the caciques, but we are about to go into it right now. But I just want you to see, all right? Fray Diego Duran is telling you, he's retelling you a story of an elder, right? That's telling him, right? And a personal account, right? From the source, that this great man, having made himself leader of those people, he went to the seashore and moved the waters with a rod that he carried in his hand. Then the sea opened up, and he and his followers went through, and his enemies, seeing this opening, pursued him, but the waters returned to their place, and the pursuers were never heard of again.